Hello and welcome to Module 4 of Launch Academy. So great you're here. Really excited to be diving into the content for this module, which is all about your marketing plan and writing your high converting copy. So that is Module 4. So let's get underway with the slide deck here. Just pull that up, share my screen, and here we go. Module 4 is your marketing copy, your marketing plan, and your high converting copy. So what I'd like to do is just another little review of where we are in the flow of our learning in Launch Academy based on the 4 essential elements. So we've been doing a lot of work around the transformative content, around developing your course outline. Then enrolling messaging is all about learning about your avatar, really deeply investigating and understanding your avatar to begin to create the right message, the authentic messaging blueprint for your course. So now we're going to start to shift as we move into Module 4 and 5 and beyond. We're going to move more into the tactics of marketing. So that is now actually writing your copy, doing the things, the best practices around your marketing and your copy that we can start to use to put together your pages. So that's where we are. We are in that transition, still in the enrolling messaging, because there's still some fine tuning. There'll still be some creative brainstorming. But now as we move the messaging into tactical pieces, practical pieces, that is the copy on your web pages, the copy that you'll be using in your emails, etc. So let's move to the intention. The intention for Module 4 is to develop your marketing plan and translate your avatar and authentic messaging blueprint creative work that you've been doing into high converting copy for your sales page and your free event page. And I'm going to talk about that a bit more in this module, is actually starting to look at creating, thinking about the content and the creative of your free event, your webinar, while also defining your tech setup. We're going to cover some of that today in Module 4 as well. So the 4 components of Module 4, the first one is we're going to take a look at the launch marketing plan. I've done a lot of the hard work for you there. I've laid it out. So it's really more or less following the plan, but you might have some customized pieces you want to add to it. Certainly you're going to be looking at your partners, social media, all those things that'll be customized to you. Number 2 is, of course, dive into the effective marketing copy for your free event. That is your free webinar and your sales page for your course. Number 3 is how to identify and track your marketing partners. I'm just going to talk a little bit more about that. Again, more learning, more you thinking about who might be a good fit for you from a marketing partner side, and then showing you where to put that in the dashboard, and just keep you thinking about, okay, who's out there? Who's out there for me that I might be able to partner with to help me in this course launch? And then number 4 is, of course, we're going to look at the technologies that you'll need for your launch, for basically your online learning platform to deliver that not only for this first course, but into the future. What kind of technologies do you need and what choices can you make there? Great. All right, so we're gonna now dive into your launch marketing plan. So simple definition is that your launch marketing plan is comprised of a set of tactics, strategies, approaches to encourage people to both sign up for your free event, your webinar, and also to purchase your course. It is focused on mostly on email marketing with partners, but also some social media campaigns and even potentially online advertising, which in this day and age is primarily Facebook advertising. Although there is Google advertising, there are banner ads for people that have, well-traveled, well-seen websites and all that. So we can talk a little bit about it. But for your first launch, particularly if you're doing a pilot launch, you really just need your own list, your own following, your own community, your partners, and social media, and that's fine. You don't necessarily have to pay money to do online advertising. So let's dive into the marketing plan component. So component number 1 of your marketing plan, and in a moment I'm going to show you the screenshot from the master dashboard, but you can certainly go into the master dashboard, click on the tab that says marketing plan, and either follow along with me right here, or just after you watch the video, you can go right into there. So you want to first find and invite marketing partners to support your launch. AKA, these are affiliates, joint venture partners, JV partners, or just partners. So a lot of different words, but they're essentially people out there that have a community, that have a following, that have a list, and whether it's Facebook, Instagram, email list. Hopefully it's a good email list. But whatever they're following is that then you ask them, you invite them, would they support you in your course launch? And so we're going to be talking a lot about marketing partners. A lot of your marketing plan is about that, is about marketing partners, because still there's nothing like great aligned partners that have an email list that can send an endorsed email. What we say is, hey, you should check out Chris's thing. He's amazing. This is going to be amazing. Check it out. There's nothing like the power of that. That's warm, that's we call warm or even hot traffic. So that's component number one. We'll dive more into this in a moment. Component number two is, once you have your partners, you have your own list, you have your own social media following, they have their social media following, that one of the first components is the email marketing campaigns to your own list and to your partners list. That is the bulk of the marketing activity. There is a very specific approach and strategy to putting together email sequences as you're going into your free event, and then the email sequences coming out of your webinar, promoting your course over a period of time. One email to blast it out to tell people to sign up for your webinar, and just one email about the course is just not enough in this day and age anymore. It's really a campaign of getting in front of people, giving them great content, reminding them about all the opportunities in your course. So that's 1 and 2. Component number 3 is your social media campaigns. That includes free or boosted posts on your social media sites, and as well as asking your partners not only to send that dedicated email out to their list, but would they also post a few times on their Facebook page or on Instagram or on Twitter. And so right now, things are changing so much with Facebook that if you have quite a large following already on your professional Facebook page, or maybe you don't, a lot of times people are having to pay $5 or $10 to boost that post to reach a much broader audience. So there is some dollars involved with Facebook particularly, but you can still do free posts. So most of your people that are following you or that are your fans or in your list will see it. But more and more as that list grows, Facebook is sort of forcing you to pay to reach the full audience that's yours. So don't get me started, but there you have it. We'll talk more about Facebook later in the program as well. Component number 4, which is totally optional, as I said before, which is online ads, online advertising. That certainly includes Facebook ads, Google remarketing ads, as well as even banner ads you might place on people's sites that have a lot of traffic to it. So right now, we all agree that in the industry and my colleagues, that Facebook is king right now especially in terms of courses and programs and webinars, that you can really target the right audience, generate the right people might be interested in your offer, and you're only paying for that, for reaching that audience. So a lot of great tools to do Facebook ads. I am of the mindset though, as people launch their first course, is to not worry about this at this point. You can lose a lot of money in that. It can be just not impactful at all. And so just launch your first course, see how it goes, get all the feedback, tweak it, fine tune it. And then certainly in the second, third, or beyond, you can start using Facebook ads. Certainly when you look to put your course into an evergreen mode, that means it's available all the time, 24/7, 365, and it's more of a self-guided program. We call that evergreen, that at some point you will need to look at sending Facebook ad traffic, cold traffic to your offer, to your funnel, to have people sign up for the course. But that's really stage 2 for you. Really the key thing is to just get your course done, get it launched, put as many people as you can in that, and then learn from that. So the 3-part marketing funnel that I want to just impress upon you, and super simple. So those are the marketing components, but the funnel that you're going to create really is the 2 last ones in this, is your free preview event or your webinar that leads into your online course. You can have your marketing partners send an email out directly about your webinar. You send out to your list and others about your webinar, and people will sign up, right? So they'll get an email, there'll be a link in the email to click here, it'll go to your webinar registration page, very simple page, and they sign up from there. But remember, it's people's time. Like, they have to really feel motivated. They see the opportunity for them. You have great messaging, and boom, okay, I like that, I want to sign up. still a good conversion, somebody landing on your your registration page, looking at it, a good conversion is still about 50 to 60% or more that would actually sign up from landing on your page. So it is not 100% deal. Just because it's free and you think it's amazing doesn't mean that other people think the same way. So, so we know with webinar registration page, you want to send as much traffic as you can to the page. And then if you're getting 60% or higher, you're doing great. Even 50% is okay. It's just below 50% that you got to, something's off here in terms of my offer or how I'm talking about my webinar. So that's the key thing, is I want you to make sure that you realize this is a numbers game. So you can send traffic there. And then once you have your webinar, you talk about, you share the learning, teaching pieces you're going to teach on the webinar. And then you make an offer for your course. You actually spend time at the end of the webinar, quite a bit of time, usually 12 to 15 minutes, to talk about your course, all the pieces in it, the transformation that's possible, and then people will sign up for your course right off your webinar. So that's the flow. That's why they're connected. Now, the front piece there, which you're seeing where it says lead magnet free content, is optional, but it's a powerful part of the funnel where you might have two pieces that partners can send to, or you can send to, which is, oh, grab my free short ebook, my mini ebook on the topic that you're going to be teaching on, some variation of that. And then a lot of people might like that. And then of course, when they get that and they get an email, you can remind them about, oh, you can also sign up to my webinar. You can also have it on the thank you page. You have a lead magnet landing page, which is your ebook landing page, for example. Could be other things. Very simple. It's not even a scroll page. It's just a headline, a box, maybe a graphic of your ebook. And then if they like what they see there, they sign up for it and they get that as an instant download in the email that you send. And then in that email, you mentioned the webinar. They can click there to sign up for the webinar. And then there's also a thank you page. When they register and they fill out the form, you've seen this, I'm sure, thousands of times, is then you're redirected to a thank you page. And that can be also a thank you page that says, thank you for downloading my ebook or getting my ebook, sign up for the webinar. I mean, not as crass as that, but that's how you then create a funnel, is you have people send to your free ebook, then they get the offer to sign up for your webinar. And then once you're in the webinar, you talk about your course and people sign up for your course. So at the very end of that, you've got happy students coming into your course and coming out of your course, and you as a happy teacher. So that's the very simple 3-part marketing funnel. And frankly, for many of you, let me just reiterate this, it's just a 2-part marketing funnel. All you need to create is your webinar and your course, your webinar registration page and your course sales page. Total bonus if you want to create a lead magnet and have those as 2 options during your campaign to help get more people signed in to your email list around your course content. All right, so now we're going to go to the next piece. We're going to talk a little bit about what's in the master dashboard. So again, you can pull this up. I'm hoping that you're keeping this in your Google Docs. It's much better to have it as a Google Doc than have it as an Excel spreadsheet where you've got to pass it around and forget which was updated. You can share this with people. If it's in a Google Doc, you can have your virtual assistant work with it with you there. Even if I was doing some coaching with you, I could go in and look at it with you by just having the link to get to it. So here it is. Here's the marketing plan tab in your master dashboard. It's, a few tabs down. And basically when you go there, you'll see the flow of emails, which is primary. The emails, some that you will be sending, but the first part of it will be having your partners also send to your webinar. Maybe even some partners would also send a notice later about your course as well, an email, but most just want to provide a free thing to their community, a free webinar or a free ebook. It's generally best practice that you just send your audience to something free rather than sending them directly to something they have to pay for. But believe me, I have some partners who are good enough and gracious enough to also send an email later in the campaign about the course itself. So you'll see all the emails here that is the announcement of the webinar, then some kind of build some interest to your webinar, and then all of the reminder emails. These are people that have signed up for it, and now you're just making sure through all these reminders that they show up live because you want them live on your webinar as much as possible. And then you'll also see all of the emails that come after you've delivered your webinar and your webinar encore, a live encore of that same webinar. You'll go into an email sequence. All the people that were signed up for the webinar, whether they showed up live or not, then have an email sequence over a couple of weeks where they're getting an email, about every other day or every third day that has some content, good content in it, but also reminders about the course itself, bonuses, early registration is ending. So it's a very thought out and very specific campaign that mixes in a sense of content, valuable content for the people, but also these reminders, so it keeps it front and center for them. So that's what I'm teaching you. And yes, people need to get over the idea that when they're in campaign, that your list may be receiving as many as 10 or 11 or 12 emails. But just know that those that are interested, stay interested. Those that want to sign up for the course, finally, by the 8th email, they get it, right? And they're like, oh, okay, I'm signing up for the course. And remember that deliverability is such for everybody that even though you think you're sending 12 emails out, that somebody is only actually seeing or getting maybe 3 or 4 or 5, right? But just because of whatever happens in deliverability, going into junk folders, promotion tab, all that stuff. So we'll talk more about this later in the course. Again, I just want to seed it with you now. There's no urgency with this, but as we get to managing your launch campaign later, we'll come back to this and make sure that you're clear on all the pieces of your email marketing campaign. So now let's switch gears. So that was all about your marketing plan, your launch marketing plan. That now we're gonna, and there's that tab that talks about those pieces of the emails, social media campaign, online advertising. Now we're gonna switch gears and talk about your copy that you need to write for your sales page and your free event page, your webinar page. So simply said is you will be writing your course sales page copy as well as a more abbreviated copy for your free event, much shorter page you'll be using, drawing on your authentic messaging blueprint, your Dear Avatar letter, and your avatar interview. So all that work is going to start to make its way to copy that you're going to write for these pages. So the sales page copy, I'm going to go through the sections, but again, when you go look at the documents that are here in Module 4, there is a document that is all about the sales page copy template with my examples in there, with some tips and best practices for what do you need to put together for your course sales page. And that is that long form page you've seen so often. People have tried to get around it and do things differently, and there's still the most effective way to have somebody sign up for a course without you having to talk to them and answer questions is one of those long form pages. If they're laid out really well, it's easy for somebody to scroll through, but there's different sections there. There's testimonials, there's what you get, what you receive, bonuses, frequently asked questions, because what you need is to give somebody everything they need to know about the course, essentially without having to ask you a bunch of questions. Like they can make the decision. They're reading the page, they make the decision to click on the button and sign up for the course. Especially for a course that's like $297, you don't want to be answering lots and lots of questions. If you have a course that's $2,000, you may have a different structure of having a chat on your page and having a way for people to contact you to answer questions because it's a much higher price. So there's a lot more nervousness that people have about signing up. But for your introductory course, where it's likely going to be 6 or 7 week course, $297, that you're going to have this long sales page that will give somebody everything they need to know. So here are the sections of that sales page from a copy standpoint. In our next module, we'll talk more about how you construct the sales page and all of the components of the visuals and the images and maybe videos, all that. We'll talk about that later. Right now, it's about the copy that you need to write. So the first section of a great sales page is the banner area. And the banner area is the top of the page with maybe it's a beautiful image. And then in there, over the image or at the top of the page, it's the title of your course, it's the subtitle of your course, and it's the headline of your course. And it may also have a secondary subtitle, which is just the practical one of a 7-week live online course with Chris Kyle, founder of Launch Academy. So there are some practical things of copy that you're going to write. But bottom line, that's where you put your title, subtitle, headline at the very top. The headline typically goes right below the image in the banner image, which is really evocative and beautiful and resonates with your audience, your avatar. That's where the title, subtitle, maybe your photo goes there, and that secondary subtitle telling people what it is. And then typically your headline makes it into the white space right below that banner. But just for you, for your copy standpoint, that's what goes in that top part there. Then right below the banner area is the start of what I call your main copy. That is essentially your authentic messaging blueprint, or really even more your Dear Avatar letter that you've fine-tuned, you've crafted, expanded maybe a little bit more, and that becomes the first 500 words or so of your sales page. And that's taking them through the full story: aspiration, problem, diagnosis, the solution, which is this course, my promise to you, and then the desired future state. That all happens at the top of your sales page. And then so you have that there, and that really sets the tone, that pulls somebody in. So between the banner and that first part of the copy, it's pretty clear from my experience that people have already made a decision by that point without even looking down the rest of the page, that they have already decided, yes, this is for me. That's why it's so powerful, this first part. And then as they move down the page, they just reaffirm and find some details and practical stuff that they say, okay, great, now I'm even more in. So after the main copy, the next section is your personal transformation story. So it's so important to share stories, whether it's your story, testimonials of clients, case studies of people that have been through the course. And so your personal transformation story shows a little bit of that you've walked in their shoes, or something has really shifted in your life based on the teachings that the content that you are teaching. And it's really your hero's journey story, that at some point in your life you were struggling and challenged, and then you found this arena, the content that you're a teacher in, found a coach or a program or something that shifted you, had an awakening experience. You want to share that story. So it's vulnerable, it's raw, but ultimately ends with you coming back with really learning these skills, becoming an expert in this arena, and now teaching other people, and how inspired and passionate you are about that. So it's the kind of the dark night of the soul into your journey of becoming an expert in your content area, and can't wait to share that with people. So we'll talk again more when we get into the construction of the sales page. You'll see some examples there. And then testimonials, essentially what people are saying about you or about your program. If you've never run the program at all, then it's basically what people are saying about Chris Kyle, or what people are saying ... And then the testimonials are just about you as a coach or a workshop leader, that just is related to your content, but it doesn't have to be in your first launch. You won't have any testimonials for people that actually went through the course. So you do your best to come up with some testimonials that relate to you as a good teacher, coach, that help them in some way. Your testimonials will actually be peppered down the page. When we talk about page construction, there might be 2 or even 3 sections of testimonials, so that it's not just in one spot, but that as people scroll down, they continue to see real people that have gone through your experience or have worked with you in some way. Section 5 in the sales page copy is you want to write the copy for here's what you'll learn, which is essentially your course outline. So what I've been teaching you in crafting your course outline and giving you those examples of the title of your module, the short blurb, and the 3 or 4 bullet points, that is literally what you'll lift and bring that over to your sales page, fine tune it a little bit, and that will drop into here's what you'll learn. That'll be the exact copy, likely, that you will use for your sales page. And then section 6 is, I love to put this in, is what I call the learning community description. So if you run this live, it's totally applicable, important to have on there if you have a live online course. If you choose to do this as an evergreen in the future, this might change, the verbiage might change a little bit in terms of there's a Facebook group for you, or there's a drop-in call once a month. But if you're doing it live, that means you're having live calls each week of your course, you're answering questions, you're having Q&As, and that creates, and a cohort is moving through essentially at the same time, right? The course starts at a certain date, ends at a certain date, and now you actually have that true learning community feel. So you want to write a little blurb here. It's short blurb. I've got examples for you on it, but it's just to remind people that this is different. If you're launching a live online course, it's different than just getting a product. Here's the 4 videos. Here's a little workbook, and that's it. Nothing else. Just go through the content. That's not that exciting, and sometimes the idea of a learning community really excites people. Section 7 is here's what you'll receive. These are the components of your course. So it's all the things you list is the 7 live, coaching and Q&A calls, 7 teaching videos in there, a workbook, a private Facebook group page, all that, all the same stuff you saw me put in for Launch Academy. You'll have your list of items in there as well. And that's pretty easy. That's just, having that short blurb of a few sentences for each of these things. So in terms of copywriting, pretty easy. And I've got lots of samples for you so you can see, what I need to say there. Your course bonuses, this is really key. So right below what you'll receive, then you'll also get all these bonuses in the course that are free value, but content that is valuable. So these bonuses are like your ebook or an interview with an expert that's sort of related or complementary to your teaching content. It could be an audio series you've done, could be any number of things. And so you'll be thinking about, well, what are some of the bonuses that I can include? And you want them mostly to be digital, downloadable things, or an audio or a video, something that they can watch on a page that's all digital. You don't want to deliver a bonus that's a physical book or anything that costs you money to produce or mail. So it's got to be all digital. And then that makes it super easy for them to get it, and it makes it easy for you, and essentially no cost. If you don't have enough bonuses, if you just have a couple of things and you need more, the default always is to find some other teacher or some expert and ask them if they would do an interview with you as a bonus for your course. And so that's where you can just easily then, okay, I'm going to interview 2 or 3 different people with different topic areas, and I'll include those in the bonus pool. And then the next area is a registration area. There's not a lot of copy here, but you still have to think about it. That is where you talk about, reiterate the course. You might reiterate the things that are included in the course here. And then you have your 2 buttons. Typically, one is a full pay option for the course. Even if it's $297, you have a 1 pay and then a 3 pay option for that, so that you're scooping up as many people as possible, whatever their financial constraints are. So a payment plan can work for some people, and for many, it's like easy to pay $297. So that's your registration area. When we talk about constructing the page, not just the copy, you'll see more examples of different ways of constructing the registration area. And then in terms of copy, you'll also need your teacher bio. I'm sure many of you have that. But don't just throw up what you've had in the past. You may want to reshape it, reorient it toward the content of the course you're teaching more specifically. And you want your best photo, your best headshot with your eyes open, no sunglasses, looking right at the person looking at your image. So that's your teacher bio and photos. You'll also have frequently asked questions. Again, a lot of these are templated questions, really basic, but it gives people a sense of, what if I miss a session? What tools do I need or technology do I need to be in part of an online course? So the basic stuff, so they don't have to ask you through an email or whatever. They can look through the frequently asked questions and get most of their questions answered. You can also use this area to handle objections, if you will. So you can take what's a common objection that people have and then turn it into a question. Like, what if I don't have, what if I'm very busy in my life right now? Is this for me? And then you respond that, is that this is totally flexible. Everything's recorded. You can go at your own pace if need be. You can get caught up by watching all the, the videos and looking at the materials in the time that it suits you. So you can start to use frequently asked questions in that way, which is really helpful. You also want to answer those kinds of questions and potential objections in your webinar at the end as you're talking about your course. So there you go. So that's the sales page section. So you have a document. So the document here in Module 4 is your course sales page copy template. So even though I went through those categories quickly, you'll notice in there that I have a lot of information, tips, and ideas for each of the sections I just mentioned in that template. So please read it. It's important. It's a supplement to what I've been sharing here and gives you little graphical samples of it. And like I'm going to show you right here is that when you look down in that sales page copy, I give you little screenshots of some pages where that section is applicable. So here, for example, is a course called Meeting This Moment that was created by the San Francisco Zen Center and Doan Robert Thomas. And this is just a very simple example of the top area, the banner area, and moving into the first part of the sales page, the main copy, your authentic messaging blueprint here. Meeting This Moment, transforming your life through Zen practice. And then that secondary subtitle, a 6-week experiential online course exploring the fundamental principles and transformational practices of Zen Buddhism. And then the headline is now below that in that red centered and top of the text. Discover how the essential principles and practices of Zen Buddhism awaken you to greater self-awareness, lasting peace, and deep fulfillment. So you're starting to already see from the authentic messaging blueprint, the headlines pointing to some of those, that desired future state, the transformation that's possible. And then into the copy there. So that's an example. You'll also get more screenshots and more examples when we talk about the construction, all the design stuff around your sales page and your free event page. So let's now talk about the free event page copy, the components of that. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to take a little bit of time with you here now to just take a deviation from the copy, is that, you know, you've heard me been talking all this time about, yeah, you're going to have a webinar, and then you're going to have a course, and you're going to have a webinar registration page, and you're going to have a course sales page. But we haven't really yet talked about, well, what do I do? How do I create this webinar? And so what I'm encouraging you to do is that you're going to really start with your course and your sales page copy. So I really want you to do that authentic messaging blueprint, the Dear Avatar letter, really work on your title, subtitle, headline for your course, start mapping out that first part of the copy, not all the other stuff yet. You don't have to worry about that, but that title, subtitle, headline, and then the main copy, which is your authentic messaging blueprint. Focus on that first. And when you feel pretty good about that, like it's at 80 or 90%, it does not have to be perfect, then you want to be turning your attention to, okay, now that I know that, and I know the course, I know even the title of the course, what is the content that I want to teach for my webinar? We're going to come back to this when we start talking about the flow of you teaching your webinar. So again, so many things happen. It's like, I don't want to overwhelm you too much with too much too early. We're going to come back with, how do I craft the script for my webinar? But what I want right now is just for you to think about, what might be 3 things that I could teach, 3 keys that I could teach, almost like they're a prerequisite for my course. And it could be anything. And it's not really intended to be, your webinar is not like a mini review of your course. It's like separate content, but complementary, or a prerequisite conversation or content that you're going to have with the people listening to whet their appetite for your course. So all you really need to think about is, okay, now that I'm pretty clear on my course, what would I call my webinar? What would be the title? What would be a subtitle and a simple headline for my webinar? You're going to use the same process. This is why you're going to mirror it. What you're doing for your course, you're just going to redo for your webinar, but it's going to be super simple, because the copy you're going to write is going to be like 200 or 300 words, and it's going to be mostly bullet point. Here's what you'll experience in this webinar, bullet point, bullet point, bullet point. So it's super light on the copy. And then there's other things that you're going to need to pull together that's not necessarily creative writing, but other things that go on that page from a copy standpoint, which I'll talk about in a moment. So that's what I want you to do. It's a part of what we'll talk about in our live calls as well, is, okay, focus on the course and then start thinking about what you would teach and what might you call your webinar. And so here are the components for the copy that you need for your free event page. That is the banner area, again, which is your title, subtitle, and headline just right below the banner. Then your main copy is going to be 300 words max. I even think that's too much, but I'm just allowing you to, okay, 300 words, somewhere around there is fine. If you can even have that less and really hit what you need to say, and then a few bullet points there, that's great, because people just want kind of the quick hit to it. Then right above the fold and right near the banner, below the banner, and kind of near your copy is going to be the registration box. So that's up high on the page, and you need a little bit of copy in that. That's why I'm putting that here, is that, and I'll show you some examples. And there's examples in the document here, so you can see what I mean by, oh, here's what goes into a registration box. And then you'll have a couple of testimonials, 2, maybe 3. If you have a couple of other colleagues or teachers that have given a testimony to your work, you could put like 1 of those, and then 2 from students. So it's like just 3 on the page. Again, your teacher bio and photo, it'll be very similar to what's on your sales page, if not exactly the same. If the one on your sales page is a little bit long, maybe you shorten this one, kind of condense it, fewer words. Of course, your photo. And then you would want to have some social share buttons and a comments area if you want. Don't need the comments area, but definitely social share either up near your registration box or at the bottom of the page where they can click on a Facebook icon or a Twitter icon or like an Instagram icon, and then they can share this event page with their audience. And that's important because this is a free event. It's a free webinar. They're excited about it. They can share it with them. So the share buttons aren't really copy, but I just wanted to make sure it's on there. You might have a little bit of copy that says, hey, please share this with your friends and your family and your community. So that's why there might be a little bit of copy there. So I also have a very detailed document called the free event copy template, which goes through these sections that I just shared with you and going in more detail and giving you tips and ideas here. So it's, I'm giving you a little bit of that overview now, what's important, and then now take a deeper dive in the document so you have that at your leisure and your convenience to review it. So here's, like, for example, a free event page copy sample. I wanted to show you this. This is from one of past clients, Dr. Don McManus. And this one is the 4 essential keys to parenting strong-willed kids. Very simple, as you can see. Most of there's a big banner. It doesn't actually have to be that thick. It could be thinner. The headline is very obvious: discover proven effective methods to turn things around and set limits in a caring, constructive ways with your children. The reserve your spot box is pretty much above the fold of a small monitor. And then you've got your copy there, right there. And a smattering of images, the banner image and maybe one image in your copy to break it up a little bit. And then he goes below to just talk about the 4 essential keys very briefly, and then another reservation box at the bottom. So simple as that. Use these examples. Like, these are so important that you do not have to reinvent the wheel. When you come up with a good title, come up with a good subtitle and a headline, it's going to look something like this. Just maybe a different image, a different color scheme, all that, but it's going to be pretty simple. And then, so now when we shift gears now, so that's your sales page. You saw an example of the sales page that was meeting this moment. And then you saw an example of a webinar registration page with parenting strong-willed kids. And there are more examples and more screenshot examples in those documents. So check them out. So now we're going to turn our attention to marketing partners. So marketing partners are really a key part of your success in your online course launches. So it's really dependent on having as many as you can. It's really up to you, but as many aligned marketing partners as possible to support your course launch, whether it is 3 partners or 30 or 100. It's just critical that you have some affiliate partners that are willing to send the announcement of your free webinar and maybe even hopefully your course to their list. It's like it's an endorsed email. I vouch for Chris. He's a good dude, and check out his free webinar. And so that's why still today, in all the things that have changed in online marketing and everything, is having these partners are so key, and they can be partners long-term. They can be partners for life, and you just keep building it. So wherever you are, and as you grow your business and as you grow in the online learning arena, you'll just keep adding partners. So the best practices for marketing partners, and I'm going to show you again the tab in the master dashboard in a moment, but the best practices for marketing partners is definitely create a target list of potential marketing partners. They get put in your marketing partners tab in your dashboard, and you just put them in there. Whether you think you're going to get them or not, whether you believe you'll even reach them live or not, does not matter. It's putting your target list. People you know, people in the same space as you, fellow teachers, friends of friends, your own list, your own network that you know, oh, who would fit? Okay, I'm going to put them on there. So I'd rather see you put, a whole bunch of people that you're not even sure that they would even be aligned with you or care or even want to promote your program, but you're going to put them on there. So maybe you put 20 or 30 on there, and at the end of the day, you wind up getting 10 or 15 people. That's totally fine. That actually, at the end of the day, say yes to supporting you. It's helpful to organize them into hot, warm, and cold categories. You can do that in the dashboard. You can just add a column on that so that you can quickly track and see, okay, this person knows me, loves me. I'm pretty sure they're going to support me. That's a hot lead. Warm is like, yeah, I think that we're pretty aligned. I've met them a couple times before. I don't know that person very well, but they feel like a warm lead. Like I could reach out to them. They know who I am. And then cold leads are people you just don't know, or they're friends of a friend or friends of a colleague, or, so whatever that you're using your network to say, hey, could you make an introduction for me to this person? Or you just at some point send an email to them and saying, hey, I'm so-and-so, and I would love to have a conversation with you about supporting each other in our businesses. So organizing them that way can help. It's not critical, but it just helps you to think through who you might want to start with first. Add all your contact info of these partners into your master dashboard so you can see them, track your activity with them, so they're not just rolling around in your head, right? So the next set of best practices is either call or email all potential partners with your invitation to support your online course. The key thing here is when you first make that call or send that email, you really want to have the language that's essentially about partnering. So, hey, I would love to explore an opportunity about partnering, how we can help each other in our programs. I'd love to learn more about what you're up to, what you're doing, how I can help you. And I'd love to share with you a little bit about my new online course coming out. So it's not just ask. It's about a partnership. How might I help you in the future? How could you help me now? And we'll figure out how to keep that mutually beneficial relationship going, okay? So that's it. And then use the email templates that I'm going to provide to not only confirm them as a partner, like that invitation email, but I also have some templates about confirming some of the details with them so that they're kind of locked in as a yes. It's not just get a yes and then don't communicate with them again until you're into the course launch. You need to make sure you're communicating with them with details and information that they need to know to put on their calendars, etc. Key best practice is once you start this process, as you're moving toward your course launch, as you're getting yeses from partners, those that have said yes to you, you need to confirm them, provide them details, and then my invitation is to quote unquote over communicate with your confirmed partners. I only say over communicate because I know I did, is to think, oh, that one email's plenty, I don't want to bother them or get in their face. And so we need to think in our mind that over communicating is actually okay with busy partners. If you're doing it as a very gracious, graceful, hey, just wanted to remind you this is coming up and our marketing window is opening up a week from now, or hey, I haven't seen that you've sent an email out yet. Could you do that? It's all that kind of just reminding them because they've said yes to be a partner. They may just need to be reminded. And I know so many busy partners that I've worked with for years. I still need to kind of get on them a little bit. Like, hey, the window's closing. We really need your support. You said you would. And, you just kind of keep reminding them to do that. So the two documents that are in module 4 here and remember, you're still in a learning mode. So I'm not expecting that you are making these calls to your partners yet until you are clear on what your course is, that you have a title, subtitle, headline, a blurb about the course, that then you're clear of what you're offering. Until you have that clarity of your offering, you should not be communicating with your partners. When you have that clarity, but still haven't finished your sales page or anything, that's fine, because you're going to be kind of working on that as you start to talk to partners. You can get your partners lined up and get them into the flow and saying yes, at least, even while you're still creating other stuff. But you can't do it if you're totally not clear on your offering. The other thing is, and we'll talk about technology here, is that one thing about your partners and technology is it is helpful to get your technology set up sooner than later, because when you get a confirmation from them, yes, I'm in, you want to make sure that you're putting them into the affiliate management system in your technology, which I'll be talking about soon. So there is a piece where you can get the yes and you don't have to have that perfectly ready, but at some point you want to put them in your database as a partner and make sure that they're in there and all the resources that they need for the course they will get from that affiliate management system. So these are the two documents: your marketing partner email templates and your marketing partner phone call flow. I think partners that you know well and have a big following, I think it's really important that you decide and think about who you want to call to make that personal call and who you'd rather email. You might only have a handful of people that you call and all the rest get an email. But just know that it's kind of valuable to call certain people to really honor who they are, their background, their expertise, their following, and that you want to honor to make a personal call to them. So here's the dashboard. So this is the master dashboard under the Marketing Partners tab. And you'll just see an example here of a bunch of people that I put down for Launch Academy. You know, we've got Craig Hamilton and Marcia Scheimoff and Jeff Affleck, Christine Closer. And then I'm looking at, okay, what are, you know, are they yes in, are they no? When did they register in the system, you know, as a partner? That's what I was talking to you about, you know, getting them in your system so they're listed as a partner. When did I first communicate with them? So that's all. You can rearrange the columns however you want, but that's all columns, potential columns in your Marketing Partners tab. So please use that. Go ahead and just keep putting names in there, even if you've got 2 or 3 now, and then next week you put in another 2 or 3 or 4. Just keep thinking about people and putting them in as potential partners. I had a whole bunch here. I know the screenshot just shows all the people that said yes, but there's another 30 or 40 below that are no, or, you know, just couldn't do it this year. So let's now switch gears to our final topic for Module 4. Is we've talked obviously about the launch marketing plan. We've talked about your sales page and free event page copy, translating all of that great work you've done with the Authentic Messaging Blueprint and your avatar work and translate that into copy. We talked about your marketing partners, keeping that going, getting names in there, because that's the thing. You don't want to wait to the last minute. And now we're going to talk about tech. So a lot of pieces here in Module 4, but it's important because they all start to overlap with each other as you go into your, you know, the final modules of the course. So your tech programs for your launch, you will need to have technology platforms or programs, applications, chosen and in place before you start the marketing of your online course. The core tech setup that you'll be using will include your back end, what I call your back end, your front end, and your marketing support software programs. Simply put, it's really basically 2 programs. I have a back end program and then my front facing or front end program. So we're going to do a little review here. You may have seen this in my webinar, and you know, I want to just make sure I review it with you. So the 3 categories of technology for your online learning business is category 1 is your backend. That is your email marketing platform, your database where people put in their name, information, you know, name, email address, their address. If you have the right platform, you'll also be tracking the e-commerce, you know, when they buy things, their address is in there, what they bought, the order. So this is all things to do with managing your growing prospect list of people. That's just generally name and email. And then also your student or purchaser list. And some of the platforms do this really better than others. Some are mostly just email marketing. Some are a combination of all of the pieces you need. And your backend should also have the affiliate management module or program in it to help you track your partners as well. And then the next category is your front end, and this is technology that interacts with your participants either during your free events, your webinars, your teleseminars, or your paid programs, your course. That this is the technology that you'll use to hold your content and your materials for your courses. But it's also technology that is about you being live, like Zoom or Maestro Conference. And then category 3, which is totally optional, which is the technology that supports your marketing efforts with special templated landing pages, certain conversion tools and analytics, special sites that hold your videos instead of YouTube, so like Vimeo and Wistia. So these are all optionals. As you get better at what you're doing, as you launch your courses, you may find that, oh, I'm going to use some of these technologies, but they're not necessary right now, but it's something I want you to be aware of. So here are the best online tech solution. These are examples of like a low budget, mid budget, high budget. You know, low budget is like MailChimp with a WordPress plugin like WP Courseware. And then totally optional marketing is like Lead Pages, which is just a site that has all these different kinds of landing pages that you can use, that you don't have to create those on your WordPress site or whatever, that you just borrow the template, fix it up, change it, boom, done. But a lot of people already have a WordPress site, your main site for your brand or for who you are as a teacher, coach, expert. So you can just simply build those pages off your current WordPress site. You don't have to pay money to go and use lead pages, but you could. So the things that the two solution levels that I'm going to encourage you to focus on are the mid-budget and higher budget. Really the low budget solution, you're going to get frustrated pretty quickly out of the gate trying to make that all work with something like MailChimp and WP Courseware with your website. Can be challenging to make that all work together. So the mid-budget solution is one that I certainly can recommend. The back-end programs are GetResponse and ActiveCampaign. There's many other platforms and many other brands. These are ones that I like, that I hear great feedback on. So I'm suggesting to look at one of those two. Then your front-end technology could be something like Access Ally, which is based on WordPress. It's a way of using WordPress, and it has all of the templates and pages built in, but you build it on WordPress. And then your front end also could be Teachable, which is much more of a platform that's already built to house your program. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be built on WordPress or anything. It's just that you buy the program and Teachable houses all the stuff that you need there. And so for many of you, it could just be ActiveCampaign and Access Ally, or ActiveCampaign and Teachable, and you're done. That's all you need. Marketing components, optional, again, lead pages, or maybe Wistia or Vimeo, but the free option is YouTube. Super easy to house all your videos for free on YouTube. I still do that, and all the videos in Launch Academy are in YouTube. So, and then front end might also be Zoom or Maestro Conference for doing your live calls, or even doing your webinar on Zoom. And you can even pre-record things and run your webinar as a pre-record on Zoom as well. Higher budget, the main thing you're looking at here is your back-end technology platform is really what boosts the cost up. And the two primary programs, the two 800-pound gorillas, are Ontraport and Infusionsoft. I recommend, Ontraport's a little bit easier to use in my belief. Infusionsoft's a little bit more bells and whistles, a little more complicated, but they're great, both viable options. And of course, we have a special deal for Ontraport for those of you in Launch Academy. Front end could be either Access Ally again, it could even be Teachable again, but one of the biggest up and coming platforms is Kajabi. And Kajabi is actually trying to be a one-stop shop. It was a great place to house all your products and your courses and all that, where it was like a library you could create in there. People would be able to check out through Kajabi, but it didn't do a good job of managing emails and database and all that. And they are now expanding that. So at some level, their $300 a month version of Kajabi could be your one-stop shop for everything you need. Your email, your affiliate management, and your housing of all your course materials and your product so people can access it. Marketing, again, lead pages, Wistia, Vimeo, and maybe live chat on your course sales page. So I know that's a quick overview. The document that is in there really is going to give you much more details. So you'll see that as one of the documents here, Online Learning Platform Technologies Guide. I give you information on all the different categories and then give you some solutions at the end. I would say that for many of you, the primary solution is going to be something like ActiveCampaign with Teachable, or Ontraport with Access Ally, or Ontraport with the base level of Kajabi. So just to let you know that it's, even though there might be all these different technologies, that is all you need. And then of course, what is the budget for that really depends. If you're willing to stretch a little bit long-term, you want the higher end budget longer term, because you'll probably wind up needing those features sometime sooner than later. So there you have it. We're going to talk about the actions checklist and then let you get at it in Module 4. So certainly watch the Module 4 video, read all of the documents. There's a lot of documents in this module this month. They're mostly supportive documents, so that's not like you've got to do work on them, but you want to use them to start writing your copy or looking at your technology, that kind of thing. And then in your master dashboard, I'd like you to start thinking about adding into your tabs, your general tab, start looking at the milestones tab and the marketing partners tab. Those are the main ones. You also can look at the marketing plan as well, although both the milestones, the marketing plan, some other stuff there isn't really critical until you are moving toward the launch of your course. So some of you might launch later this fall, But some of you might just say, I'm going to launch early next year. I'm going to get through the course, get all my ducks aligned. So you want to be able to set those milestones and those other pieces in your dashboard when you're getting closer to launch. And then you want to start writing your course sales page copy based on the document here as the guideline for you. Create your free event webinar and start writing the copy for that. That's title, subtitle, headline for your webinar, and then the very brief short copy that describes it. And then determine the technology setup you want for your launch. You don't have to buy them right now, but kind of know, okay, I'm willing to do that. I'm going to do that. And then also watch the tutorial video coming soon on writing your sales page and your free event copy. So be looking for that. All right, there you have it. Really excited about this module and what you come up with, because this is now where we start seeing the pieces come together. All the creative work starts to make it to copy and this page and that page. So super excited to hear your questions and respond to them in our next call. Be well, and we'll see you soon.